All right, good evening to all of our viewers in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Southwest Missouri. I'm Joshua Weisel here in the Storm Studios. Let's step into this forecast and show you what we got for tonight into tomorrow morning. Lows are going to start off a little bit on the warmer side, to say the least. As you can see, it matches with the tide that we've got here into the dark oranges, and that's indicative of some upper 70s. Maybe even a couple areas making their way into the lower 80s tomorrow morning. So it's going to be quite warm out there. Some of the cooler spots are going to be Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas, right around the mid 70s. But as you can see, it's going to be humid and it's going to be a warm start to the morning. Here's a look at what we got with the forecast for tomorrow afternoon. And notice we have some triple digits starting to pop up on the board. Now, right now, it's going to look a little bit different with this map compared to the 7-day forecast. Keep in mind, we do the 7-day forecast for the official recording locations. So we got some triple digits on the board. So it wouldn't surprise us, upper 90s into the triple digits for the River Valley and into a large portion of Oklahoma. A little bit cooler with some mid upper 90s between Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, far Northeast Oklahoma. So warm and humid, and it wouldn't surprise us if we see some heat alerts tomorrow across the area, because with the heat and the humidity, we even got a chance for some thunderstorms. In fact, we may be pushing a little bit closer to maybe some extreme heat warnings over the next couple of days before a little bit of a cool off, but we'll get to that here in just a second. But tomorrow, very warm. Please take care of yourself during the day tomorrow. Stay hydrated. Make sure you're taking breaks in the shade if you're working outside. And also, if you're a pet owner, don't walk your pets during the day. Way too warm for their little feet. And also, don't leave your kids or your pets alone in an unattended vehicle. Like we said earlier, no risk for severe storms for the remainder today into tomorrow morning. Keep in mind these outlooks, they do go from, the day today into the early morning hours the following day, right around 7 in the morning. So no highlighted risk for storms. And for the remainder of this evening, stuff's going to continue to kind of quiet down as we make our way overnight tonight. Maybe some activity tomorrow morning. We'll show you a future scan here in just a second. But, the bulk of the activity should be quieting down before we get back into the swing of things tomorrow. Here's a look at what we got with the rain chances. Very similar to what we had earlier in the day. Still kind of highlighting as we head into tomorrow, kind of that corridor across portions of Arkansas and Oklahoma, a little bit less into Southwest Missouri. But keep in mind, that'll change as we make our way later into the day tomorrow, because we got some showers and storms to be aware of then. If we see additional rainfall over the next several hours into tomorrow morning, only a couple tenths of an inch are expected to. Maybe some localized amounts of higher, closer to a half inch, maybe an inch in some locations with the slowest and the heaviest rainfall. But, right now the good news is it's at least not widespread activity. The other good news is for morning commuters tomorrow morning, ingredients for fog are not likely. Now, this morning we did see conditions that were, favorable for at least some patchy fog in the morning. And this is why it's important to tune in every, day. We have the Foghorns morning fog outlook so that we can get you prepared for the day ahead and the commute that you have for the morning. So huge shout out to Foghorns in Fayetteville and in Springdale. Be sure to support them like they support us. We're so grateful to have them on a channel, and, they've been great, and so grateful to, have them as a sponsor to the channel. Support them like they support us. Again, they have locations in Springdale and in Fayetteville, an Arkansas original since 2004. That's a look at the morning fog outlook from Foghorns. And here's a look at what we got with the severe weather risk for tomorrow. So, it's not the highest risk that we've seen, but it's another one of those little pesky risks that it's on the low end of the scale. Now, keep in mind our colors, and I'm saying this because, we have a lot of new viewers recently. We've seen a tremendous amount of growth, and we're so thankful for everyone tuning in. But I kind of just want to share our algorithm here real quick. I'm not going to take too long, so don't worry about it. Just to kind of show you why our severe weather risk looks different than what you see from other traditional outlets. This is a combination, and this is unique to us here at Weather 225, is this is our system's algorithm that's accounting for the ingredients for severe weather, and we combine it with the Storm Prediction Center, and we're doing a 4 scale because we want it to be easier on the viewers. This isn't, discrediting any other outlook. The SPC geniuses at the Storm Prediction Center. We love all the work that they put behind the scenes. Incredible forecasters. So this is not saying what they're doing is wrong. We're not saying that at all. This is our unique scale because we want it to be as easy for the viewers as possible to understand the severe weather risk for that day, from low, medium, high to extreme. So we combine them. And with that being said, we have a low end risk that our algorithm and the Storm Prediction Center are highlighting parts of the area tomorrow under a low end risk for storms. It's on the lowest end of the scale. It doesn't mean that you will or will not see storms. It just means Be mindful, the ingredients are there. That's for areas north of I-40, and that means that we've got an opportunity for maybe some wind, maybe some hail. The ingredients over the next couple of days, they're not prime for tornado development, right? But it doesn't mean that it's a complete zero tornado probabilities. It just means that it's incredibly low, and hail and wind are going to be the primary concerns. We'll let you know if anything changes with that, but again, a low end risk for tomorrow, tornado risk not that high. And the reason I'm saying that is, it always happens whenever we have severe weather. The immediate thought is tornado, right? But hail, wind, also possible, higher on the scale than the tornado potential. There could also be a localized rain potential as well for some heavy rainfall. This will continue as we make our way into Friday. As you can see there, we've got another low-end risk for parts of the area. This one's a little bit further to the south compared to the one that we have for tomorrow. Again, risks look to be primarily the large hail and the damaging wind potential. Tornado threat, it's incredibly low. It's not zero, but, it's not going to be the highest thing that we have on the board for risks. We'll keep an eye on the activity. We'll let you know the very latest. Here's a look at what we got for the future scan radars. We make our way further throughout the morning and stuff. And I wanted to show you earlier, it didn't really do a whole lot in terms of fantastic work for the storms that we did see pop up today. And this is why it's important to not take this literally, is because, as you can see, it's going to be hit or miss activity between tomorrow and Friday. There's not going to be that giant complex of storms with the bow echo like we've seen. It's not going to be widespread supercells, nothing along the lines with that. But the moral of the story that I want you to take away from this future scan is, notice it's just scattered showers and thunderstorms. In the morning, there could be some activity, continues into the afternoon and the evening. Not everyone's going to see storms, tomorrow or Friday. It's just we want you to be aware of that. But keep in mind, when it's these little random pop-ups, kind of like what you get in some coastal areas, if you've ever visited any of the Gulf states, you get these little random pop-ups and they're short-lived and they don't do a whole lot besides some heavy rainfall, lightning, maybe some gusty winds. And in the next couple of days, maybe pushing some low-end severe weather potential, right? But not everyone's going to see this activity. And future scan, when it's these little random pop-ups, it's not going to have the best handle on things. So that's a look at what we got there. Now take a look at the temperature outlook, and unfortunately, we're pushing into the moderate to even well above average temperatures in some parts of the area. So, I keep joking with people because, when you're in weather, one of the jokes that you hear all the time is someone will walk up to you and be like, man, why aren't you keeping these temperatures away? Believe me, I wish I had the ability to do that because, as someone who grew up in North Texas, one of the last summers when I was living in North Texas, as my primary residence here a couple years ago, the last summer I lived in North Texas, we had days that were 113 degrees. And the heat index values were just absurd. And so, when you've lived in that your entire life, at some point you start going, I kind of like 75 degrees and sunny. So I wish I could keep this away. I'd make it 75 degrees and sunny all the time if I had the ability to do that. But unfortunately, it's just that time of the year. Welcome to summer. Even worse news, well, depending on if you're tired of the rain and the storms or not, we've got some below average precipitation swinging in. So it looks like, we got some dry weather on the way over the next 6 to 10 days. So enjoy the rain chances while they last. Storm chances look to be there between the next, I'd say, 3 to 4 days. It's starting to decrease by the time we get into early next week, but the temperatures, a little bit of a roller coaster again. As we got the latest model data throughout the afternoon and the evening, it looks like the temperatures are just going to keep doing this pattern where it goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down, right? So we're going to start to see some of those temperatures. The earlier 7-day forecast the last couple of days showed that early next week, temperatures were going to skyrocket, and it looks like they're going to get pretty warm, and then we may have another system on the way that lowers those a couple of degrees, so maybe not the warmest that we've seen, but triple digits, upper 90s tomorrow. Northwest Arkansas is not going to be quite that warm, but the River Valley and Oklahoma will be that warm. Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, right around the mid 90s or so, but Arkansas and the River Valley and Northeast Oklahoma, that's going to be a scorcher tomorrow. So keep in mind, again, I wouldn't rule out the opportunity for maybe some extreme heat warnings tomorrow because it's going to be pretty warm out there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Southwest Missouri, again, we're going to have some opportunities for some warming temperatures on the way as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you have a great rest of your week. And keep in mind, too, we do have these low-end risks for severe weather. It's not going to be the highest severe weather probabilities that we've ever seen. We just want you to be aware of that. Follow my social media. We have this new system that's sending some automated alerts there, so we can give you the information as quick as possible. And so I want you to follow along there. Set post notifications through my social media, and everyone that has an app, we don't have an app yet. We're working on things behind the scenes. It's taking a lot longer than I would like. There's just a lot of development behind the scenes, right? But it's one of those things where, around the weather community, you're going to be told just stick with, this app or anything along the lines. I'm going to tell you, even if we had an app, I want you to have multiple ways to receive alerts, whether it's a low end severe risk day or it's spring and it's one of the higher end. For days like this, not everyone's going to see storms, but I just want you to have multiple ways to receive alerts. Don't just stick with my social media alerts because, what happens if a server goes down and those don't push out, right? I want you to have those multiple ways just to be completely safe so that you know what's on the way because, technical things happen, whether it's an app that you've been using forever. What if their servers go down? That type of thing. What if the weather service transmitter for the radios has an issue, right? That's why we say have multiple ways to receive alerts. So just have those ways to receive alerts just to be safe. Not everyone's going to see severe storms. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to deliver the wall-to-wall coverage for this event. I'm going to be attending one of my great friends, Aiden's wedding, and I'm so happy for him. Congratulations to Aiden if you're tuning in. He's been a really good friend to me over the last several years, roommates in college too. So excited to celebrate him this weekend, and so going to spend some time off. That means that I won't be able to do wall-to-wall coverage, and I'm not going to disrupt being on my phone and everything. So I'll be there celebrating him, but I'm not going to be, not posting updates. I'll post updates throughout the week, throughout the weekend, so don't worry about that. I've got the automated alerts too in case those alerts do come in. Keep it right here with Weather 225. I just wanted to give you a heads up as we head into the weekend. So that's a look at what we got there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like our media and forecast, be sure to support us today on Patreon. You can advertise with us this storm season and throughout the year. Contact us today for availability and pricing. Weather 225 since 2015.